Hi, my name is Fati Lelyveld. I'm from Uptown Manhattan. I'm a student at Barnard College, and I've been working here at the Point for about 5 years. And I also suffer from asthma, as do many of the kids I work with here. And it's a problem that the city easily could curb but chooses to ignore, which is one of the many reasons I've become disillusioned with politics. What do you say to people of my age who find that that politics doesn't affect much positive change? And you also mentioned earlier that if you strip away the political mask, you get to the moral issues, but it seems that the political mask is hindering us from doing things for ourselves. So how do you suggest we go about affecting change if we can't wait for things to happen on another level?
Boy, what an articulate question, and a lot of good points you made in asking the question. I don't want to turn you off politics at all. And when I say that sometimes moral imperatives have a political mask on them, I guess I'm really talking about the ways that partisanship can sometimes take over the debate and obscure the underlying values that are really at risk. And I have specific views about why politics now seems so irrelevant to people's lives. And I'm not really trying to give a commercial for GenerationEngage, but I do want to come back to this central point. I think the reason why so many young people and people of all ages have had such a serious question about whether politics makes any difference in their lives is that in order for politics to work well, it has to be based on an ongoing conversation about everything that needs to be looked at and changed in our country and in our society. And that conversation has to be open to everybody. And the people whose points have more impact should be the people whose points are heard as being more relevant and as well stated as your question was just stated. But in our current political culture in America, the conversation of democracy is dominated by these god-awful 30-second television advertisements, and they're just kind of one-way missiles aimed at people who can't talk back to them. And in order to run the commercials, you have to have tons of money. And the people who run the commercials too often get all of that money from special interests who are all too willing to make it available to them, but at a price. And as a result, you get a one-way conversation financed too much by special interests. So a young woman who has a great point, who is articulate as you are, who expresses yourself so well, you have a hard time entering the conversation. And we ought to have a conversation of democracy in America where a statement like yours would have a chance to reverberate, and people who agreed with your points could add to them and say, yeah, I agree with that, and then say it in their own words. And then if it worked like that, then pretty soon the politicians in all of the political parties would have to start listening to that instead of listening so much to the people and the organizations that have the money now that they need to run these TV commercials. And this is a longer conversation in itself, but that's why GenerationEngage is involved in trying to create opportunities for a multi-way conversation. And I really do think that the internet and technologies like iChat offer an opportunity to bust up the television advertisement monopoly that has suffocated politics in America. So I think you're on the right track.